Welcome to Charlie 27 in the awareness campaign, one that affects every woman in America, and of course, the men who love and care about them. My name is Ulysses Clay Jr., CEO of the UCJ Group and Charlie 27. Up next, Provoking Thoughts. That's up next, and we're going to talk about it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Charlie 27. Today's topic or episode is Provoking Thoughts. I had a conversation, an interesting one, with a young lady who, from a different background, different neighborhood, different culture, who didn't look like me. But this young lady was open to a conversation that lasted 3 hours, 54 minutes. After the first 45 or so, we conducted some business. And it was so refreshing and so honest. The dialogue was thought-provoking and intriguing and open, that I really, really appreciate and have a level of respect for this person that I didn't have before. This person happens to be one of my attorneys, and the conversation, we talked about a lot, from politics to religion to the elephant in most rooms of mixed conversations, being race. And we had some conversations that most people are not willing to have. See, most people are not willing to have conversations like that. If they were raised a certain way, if they was brought up and reared in a certain environment where they were somewhat alienated from people who didn't look like them, people who did not have the same values as them, ideology as them, maybe the same school pedigree, whatever you want to call it. But it was very, very interesting and intriguing. We hit. I think the reason why we established rapport early in our relationship and conversation, because we found some commonality, right? We found more things that we agreed with than not. So I'm talking about being able to understand and find out what we as individuals, as people, don't know about other individuals and people. Because just because you were raised a certain way, I was raised a certain way, and there may only be slight differences, which could be the wall, if I may use that analogy, that keeps us separated from being able to engage in conversation and really good, meaningful dialogue that can bridge so many gaps, that can cause people to make decisions based on their own limited thinking and knowledge of someone else's world. Think about that. Other people tend to judge. We all have been judgmental in some way, form, shape, or fashion. We all have certain prejudices. And she and I, we talked about that. But it's the difference in being prejudiced versus being racist, right? I'm prejudiced when it comes to ice cream. I prefer black walnut over vanilla or strawberry, which I don't care for either, right? Black walnut, butter pecan, that's your boy right there. I can rock or roll with either one of those flavors. That's just my preference. I'm prejudiced in that regard, right? As opposed to being a racist, someone who never experienced the flavor, but don't like you, don't care for you, actually to the level hate you because of who you are and your particular flavor, without even experiencing the flavor and having the ability to be privileged and in a class where people have power and utilize that power to take advantage and even control of other people that they feel a sense of superiority. This is just, we talked about a lot of things, right? And to be able to have conversations with someone that's different than you, she and I agree that it needs to happen more often than not, because we both learned some things. I learned more about her family. She likewise about me and my family. And we left the conversation in a very, very refreshing light. We left the conversation both feeling a little bit more empowered and knowledgeable and enlightened. I appreciate her sending me an email this morning, after our conversation yesterday, and just acknowledging that, my input gave her pause to really think, to the point of wanting to do more research about certain things and subjects and things that we talked about that she was not aware of, even pertaining to her own culture and background. It's amazing how people in general, if they don't know their own history, only that perhaps maybe their parents that taught them, or the environment and teachers, the neighborhood or whatever, that's so limited in scope. We limit ourselves by our own environment or centers of influence. We limit ourselves. That's why I've always been considered, for the most part, an out-of-the-box thinker. For years, over 25 years, 30 years now. Because my dad always taught me, if it's something you don't know about, you ask questions. You find out. You do research. And that's how I've always pretty much, for the most part, lived my life. The majority of my life. With that premise. Because we have to understand that we are evolving. It's been said to me, son, if you're not growing, you're dying. That's why every single day, personally, I'm really introducing myself to some literature, some things that I don't know, so I can be knowledgeable about certain subjects and certain things that interest me. Even that doesn't interest me. I may hear a word that I never heard before in 59 years. I'm looking that word up. I'm going to my unlimited library called Google. I'm going to my unlimited source, and I am purposely looking that word up to find out what it means. So now maybe I can add it to my repertoire of words, of diction. So when it comes to discourse and conversations with other people who maybe don't look like me, who maybe didn't come from my background, maybe have a different dialect, different diction, and perhaps maybe that may be that word that may strike some commonality between us, that may be able to help bridge a gap between us. Perhaps maybe to be able to, the last ship, the last hammer that would able to bring down that particular wall. I don't know. I just know that we have to continue to grow, to evolve, so that we could be better people and be impressionable upon lives of people who don't know we are here until they know we are here. And especially our young people. They need to be able to understand that we all have differences based on limited knowledge and experiences. Think about that. Differences come when you have limited knowledge and experiences by which to properly judge any situation. That's why we have to always be open to learning, and having conversations where we can expand, where we can to be able to make decisions based on information, right? Information that could, should, and will lead us to making the right decisions about whatever it is. Anyway, I just thought I'd just take a few minutes. It's a lot more that I can say because the conversations that she and I had was 3 hours and 54 minutes. Like I said, the first 45 wasn't not as important. Although it was about some serious business that some work that she's doing on my behalf, but it was not the most important. Most important was the 30 plus hours that she and I spent having a conversation about life. I mean, real life shit. Issues and things that people deal with every single day. I'm talking about every single day. That most people, I submit most people, and she and I, we talked about it, most people don't have those type of conversations, even those are people in our families and friends and colleagues that we're most comfortable with. It's those conversations she and I had, and people are not having those types of conversations. They just not. And I thank God for Miss Vanessa, my attorney. I thank God for her being to have a conversation with me. I don't even remember how we even got into the conversation. But, we ended up there, and it was the most refreshing, thought-provoking conversation in 59 years. One of the most. I've had many, but that was probably at the top, with someone that did not look like me. Different background, different culture than myself. But we found out that we had more in common than not. But it took a deeper conversation we had in order to come to that conclusion. And I thank God that we did. It was refreshing. It really was. That being said, hey, I got some other shit to do. Got to continue to work on Charlie 27, the awareness campaign, and product development that we are in the process of developing some dope ass products that are going to change the lives of women and men all around this country. Oh, babies too. I'm not going to forget about our children. We are going to be blessing our children as well. So we're excited. I'm excited. And we are going to continue to work on the next chapter of our lives. My hope, my prayers for you, that you and your family would have success, have life, and that more abundantly, and continue to work on your goals, your dreams. And for my ladies, always remember, you are beautiful. You are royalty. You are queen. My name is Ulysses Clay, CEO of the UCJ Group, and Charlie 27.